Is that Don Cherry or is that Jess?
Just the cherry, I guess.
Don the Raspberry. Welcome back to Placed on the 55 podcast, the playoff edition. Jess, the regular season is behind us.
I'm super stoked about the playoffs starting up. It's a really tough call against BC at Saskatchewan, and I really hope they pull through. And then on the East, we get a really tight show between Toronto and Ottawa. So it's going to be a great week for Canadian football.
And with these 6 teams in the playoffs, did the regular season sort of shake out the way you expected, or are there any surprises, good or bad?
No, I was surprised that BC didn't come in at least second or first. Other than that, kind of be predicted. Montreal, I always thought was going to come out of the East. The only thing out of the East that I was a little sketchy about was your Tabby Cats, not making the playoffs. They came in fourth. But besides that, I think everything else pretty much came into what I thought was going to happen.
Montreal seemed to stand out for most of the season until the end there. I think their last 4 games were kind of miserable, maybe because they locked up first so early, but they didn't have any momentum coming out of the regular season, and I wonder if that's going to impact them at all now that they have a bye week.
I totally think so, and I was commenting on that maybe last week or even 2 weeks ago. When a team comes in so early to win first place in either the East or the West, they take some time off, and it has happened multiple times where a first place team in the East or the West will get wiped out by a team that it was either second or third because they have momentum. I wouldn't be too surprised if that happens to Winnipeg.
Well, we won't know if either of the first place teams are going to get knocked out until next week. This week is the Western and Eastern semifinals. But before we jump into that, let's do a quick recap of last week.
I know you're going
finished.
With this. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's look at our records from last week. You went 3-1, and so on the season that puts you at 37 and 44.
Oh.
I went 1-3, and can you guess what that puts me at?
I don't know, a lot better than me.
44 and 37.
Well, screw it. I still have the odds-on favorite to pick the Grey Cup winner. I said BC and Montreal, and you picked the Tabby Cats, who aren't even in the playoffs. And, well, BC still has a half-decent chance, and, well, Montreal's got a awesome chance of actually winning. So at least I got that going for me.
You're not going to lose, right? You're going to go 5-0.
No.
Now in the playoffs, this is when all the games mean the most.
I just hope I win that Grey Cup. Like if BC and Montreal are playing in the Grey Cup, that would be fantastic.
Okay, so heading into week 1, we got Ottawa visiting Toronto. Ottawa's getting 6 points. Toronto's the clear favorite in this game. Definitely home field advantage. Ottawa's been poor on the road.
I'm going with Ottawa. I like them with you giving me 6.5 free points.
6
points. I don't really love what Chad Kelly's been doing. So I'm going to take the Red Blacks.
I think this year Toronto's going to kind of do to Montreal what they did last year. I think Montreal is the favorite coming out of the East. Mm-hmm. Toronto's going to make it through this game. I think 6 points is kind of rich. I don't like them having to make up 6 points on the win, but at the same time, I expect Toronto to do it, and I kind of expect them to do it easily. So I'm going to go Toronto, and I think that's a bit of a precursor for next week, because I think Toronto's going to get up against Montreal and eliminate them.
I think Toronto's going to eliminate Montreal?
I do. I think it's going to be a story of last season, but flipped. So instead of Montreal eliminating the first place, it's going to be Toronto eliminating the first place. And the two teams are just flipping this year.
Interesting. I'm not sure if I see that happening, but, well, the only way I can see that happening is if Montreal is so lethargic from not playing meaningful games for 4 or 5 weeks. So, yeah, I can almost see that.
So that brings us to the West. I noticed on the spread that BC is the underdog. They're getting 3 points. They're visiting Saskatchewan. What do you think? I mean, you're pulling for BC.
I still like him. I'm sorry. I know. Yeah, it's just betting with my heart again. But I got actually Saskatchewan Rough Riders stuff behind me. I love the Rough Riders. They're my second favorite football team. So if they actually happen to beat BC on Saturday, well, I'll be cheering for them against Winnipeg the next Saturday. I really like what Vernon Adams did last week against Montreal. Sure, it was a me-nothing game, but he stretched out the ball so well. He's throwing 45, 50-yard passes downfield. Nathan wasn't doing that. And some of the BC Lions were kind of like, hey, Vernon has his team back now. Like, I don't know. It's kind of controversial, but, a lot of people like him. And because he was such a good teammate when he was, sat on the bench when Nathan came back, he was a class act the whole way. And I think almost everyone on the Lions recognizes that. And that's why I think he's going to do a pretty good job in Saskatchewan on Saturday.
Does it matter how many points BC's getting? 7, 10, 3? You're picking them to win.
Yeah, we could lose by 2 points, I guess, and I'd still win.
BC looks hot. You're going to see a lot of big plays coming out of those receivers. Justin McInnes and VA, they had chemistry at the start of the season, and I think that chemistry is going to make its appearance on the field this weekend. I think, like you, that they're going to get by this game, so I'm going to go BC on this one.
And then, we'll see how it shakes out for the Eastern and Western final next week, which is also on Saturday.
It feels pretty light only having 2 games to bet on. When did the awards happen? Like most outstanding player?
That'll happen the week before Grey Cup. So after the Western and Eastern final, there'll be a week before they have the Grey Cup on Sunday, and it'll be announced on the Wednesday or Thursday before Grey Cup.
All right, well, short week. Lots to look forward to on Saturday. I'm going to be watching each game start to finish, especially the BC game and that second of the doubleheader. If you want to write the show, you can at placedonthe55pod@gmail.com. Go Lions!
You got it, John.